Hi, my name is Damien Montero. I'm the co-chair of the Palm Beach Tech Community Committee. And I'm one of the coaches at the Palm Beach Tech Hackathon that's happening on October 19th at the Office Depot headquarters. I wanted to give you some tricks and tips that I've used in the past to win 5 hackathons. And I've used and have seen some of the best presentations when I was a coach at some of the other hackathons. All right, let's start before, during, and after. Before, getting ready for the hackathon. That includes a couple of basic things. Make sure to update your laptop. Make sure to think of what you want to bring to the event. And I will tell you that the parking is very, very close to the building, and the building's entrance is very, very close to the room we'll be staying at. So feel free to bring only what you need and leave the stuff in the car. It's not a good idea to leave it in the house, no matter how close the house is, but the car is very, very convenient to close. So if you feel like you want to bring a couple of things and see where you want to sit, or you want to bring yourself right away quickly, sign up quickly and find the best seat, go ahead and do that. You'll be able to find your best seat, sit down, and if you forget or are ready to get the information or the rest of the stuff from your car, go ahead and bring it. Do bring stuff that you might use, because it's always going to be available and not so useful if it's sitting at home. All right, on Friday, come without your laptops. It's a chance to see others, hear their ideas, submit your ideas, find teams. If you're already part of a team, already have a team, find individuals that you're missing in your team. There's always someone that you could use that could really help out. Feel free to do that on Friday. That's what it's for. You want to be able to bounce ideas off others and think of snippets or small bits of code that you could do perhaps on Friday night to get you ready for that working on the morning. It's okay to bring snippets. It's not okay to bring your whole product ready on Sunday. Don't skip Saturdays. All software that is shown, websites, ideas, must be constructed and created, even if it's just PowerPoints, on Saturday. More PowerPoints on the future. But remember to update those laptops. I'm having a little piece of paper here to remind me. All right. When you're in there Saturday, you have your idea ready. If not, find your teams, find the individuals you're missing, do the chance to do that at the beginning during breakfast time that will be provided, and go ahead and get everything ready. But it's okay not to just jump right in. What you want to do, and what I suggest, is sketch it out. Draw it on a piece of paper, draw it on several pieces of paper, and pretend when we click on that, it will look like kind of like this. It's okay if it looks completely different finally, but you'll be surprised how many things you didn't think about and now you have to think about, or you thought it would work, and now when you really saw the screens on a piece of paper, as awful as they are looking on the piece of paper, they don't have to be perfect, then you really think, wow, we have to rethink of this idea. And rethinking is okay. Rethinking is fun. Think of what you're going to be doing and try to do what you do best. In other words, if there's a particular technology, feel free to try it. Feel free to experiment, but feel free to fail early, as it is motto in programming. Make sure that you know what you're doing and program it exactly as you know how to do it. Make sure that you know, if you know something particularly, it's okay to experiment, it's okay to try it. Just be ready with what you have. All right, here's one of the tricks about it. Don't worry if it's ugly. And it's related to the other things we're going to talk a little bit later. But what we sometimes want to do is we want to make it as good and looking as possible. But sometimes it's ugly because, we don't have the time to improve about it. It's okay if the particular logo, don't spend 2 hours trying to figure out what the right name or what the right logo. They will pop up, they will change as time goes on. Make sure to get something working. With that in mind, make sure to start on the most important part of your project first. Yes, the login screen might be important. Yes, this part might be important, but get the functionality work. Get something that within an hour or two, you have the basic idea kind of, sort of working. With that in mind, do not worry. Fake it until you make it. Do not worry if some parts of the system aren't working. Do skip authentication. we don't really need to know that it's perfectly safe and perfectly secure. It's a hackathon. We're judging you on the idea, we're judging you on the concept, and we're judging you on how it looks and how you thought about it, but we're okay if certain things are not quite working there. You can share that with us if you'd like, but you can just go, okay, this is the login screen, I'm going to log in right now, and you can pretend that if you had put in the wrong password, you've gotten an error, but whichever password right now you use, it worked in there. The major part's the important. Like I said, skip authentication, skip the small stuff, get the big stuff working, then you can work on the small stuff later. During the event, you guys will fight. You will fight with your coworkers, you will fight with your co-teams, you will fight with others, individuals, you will fight in the line. Don't fight, don't blame, fix. If there's something wrong, don't spend time worrying about who did it. Don't spend time doing those things. Fix it. And if you can't, get someone to do it. Do find the bathrooms, do use them often, do find the food, do have plenty of food around you or water. It's okay to get up and get something to drink. The last thing you want to do is hold it in. You're going to feel bad no matter what you're doing. Nobody is copying you. Nobody is listening to your conversation. Trust me this, I've been to plenty of hackathons, I've been coaches at once, I've been outside at servers as well as I've been part of it. Nobody knows what you're doing. Everybody's so busy with their own project that they'll never know that your particular product looks similar or your particular product is that killer idea, and now that they've heard it, they'll do it. Don't worry about it. Just get your project done. Don't worry if you're shouting out, no one's going to hear you. Trust me. Coaches, myself and all the other 10 coaches that are going to be there are there to help you. Now, we're not all the same. We're not all doing the same thing all the time. Some of us are better at graphics. Some of us are better at backend. Some are better at databases. Some are better at IoT. Some are better at design. You can find different things, and don't be okay. It's okay if your coach goes, give me a second, let me get another coach to help you out there. They're not trying to get bothered by that, but they're going to be doing that. If they're busy with somebody else, they will come over. One last thing about coaches, they're not there to do all the work for you, but they're okay if you ask them several times the same questions. They're not going to get mad. At least I'm not going to get mad. Go ahead and ask me 1,000,000 times the same question. I'll give you the 1,000,000 times the same answer, though. That's what you're going to think about it. All right. You've set it up. You've gotten it ready. You've finished it all. It's 10 o'clock and you're ready to present. Here's some rules and some information about presentations you should be aware of. Some of the basics. Prepare your presentations ahead of time. Don't come up and say, I'll wing it. I'm a great presentation. I'm a great presenter. I run a lot of groups, including BocaJS, and you know it, and I sometimes wing those presentations. This is not one you should wing. Prepare yourself, go to the corner, talk about it. No one's going to copy you at that moment. At that moment, they've done all the work already. So just get your presentation working, get the basics out of it. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't be perfectly timed, but it's okay. Presentations. Test your computer. Make sure that you are aware that your computer there's going to be a single computer that's going to be out there. The last thing we want to see as judges is you to switch from your computer to your iPod, to your other computer, to the other computer, to the other computer, unless there's something wrong. There will be loss of time, and you will have to reset things. So get one computer up and working. You'll have a waiting area. This is one of the things you should know. There's going to be sort of a waiting area for the next presenters to go on. That waiting area will have a monitor you can plug in and try to make sure that your laptop is ready. You'd be surprised if things work perfectly fine on your laptop, and the moment you connect it to a projector, everything's haywire or too small or too big or too everything. The last thing you want to do is show up there and somehow the timer has started and you're still fumbling with the product, or you don't know where that window went because you didn't think about how to do mirroring on your laptop. Make sure to do mirroring. Don't have one window on your laptop and the other one, because you want to be able to see what's up there on the big presentation screen, and you won't be able to turn around and look at it. You might be able to point at it, but you won't be able to turn around and look at it. Be nice on stage. There are people coming on and there are people coming off. Whichever one of the ones that you are not, be nice and courteous to the other people. Don't comment on what they're doing. Don't mention it. Don't joke around with them. They are super nervous, just like you are, so make sure to be aware of that. Judging criteria. Judging criteria will have 4 factors, and this is not a big giveaway. The judging criteria will be the impact. How impactful, how interesting, how fascinating your product is. Functionality. Really, which part of it works? Now, again, not the individual piece. Oh, the login screen actually is not finished. It's okay. Your screen, we understand there's going to be 2 different screens about it, and then you need to log in. It's okay if you just sort of fake that, as long as the main functionality is there. That's what we're interested in, viability. Once it goes live, it's fantastic. It's amazing. I've won hackathons that are an amazing idea, but no one's going to use it. It was just a fun experiment. It was fun for everybody, and everybody enjoyed it. But in this case, it's important to make it viable, an innovation, but something that's unusual and new and different about it. All right. Here's some pro tips from a pro winner of hackathons. Don't go over time. If I had one tip to give you, that's it. The last thing you want to know is have Joe tell you, time's up. He'll give you a warning. He'll give you a 30-second warning, perhaps a 10-minute warning, and he'll start waving like crazy. The judges get distracted. You're going to get distracted. So the last thing you want to do is, if you have 5 minutes, if you have 10 minutes, whatever the time allowed, and you will know this at the time of way before the presentation. If the time is 5 minutes, make sure presentation does not go over 5 minutes. It's okay if it's short. It's okay if it's a couple of minutes. You might have an amazing idea that only takes a couple of minutes to explain, but just make sure you don't go over it. Who are you? Start with who you are, but don't go too much into details, unless the story it's part of the story. Oh, I'm a cop and I have this problem. Well then, who am I blended into the story that you have to tell? And you do have to tell the story at the beginning, but make sure that you don't go overboard. I am this individual, I'm the committee and the chair, and I also do this, and I'm going to show you a pink lollipop. And you're like, what did that whole conversation have to do? Just give us your name, the information about who you are, if it's related to your story. Do tell the story, and start with the problem you're solving. You are there to show us off. You are there to wow us. But we want to understand what particular problem you're solving, and get into a little bit of detail, but not too much. Just go straight into the problem you're solving, and we'll understand how the rest of the project works into it. PowerPoint is okay, but demos are better. It's okay to start a PowerPoint. It's okay to have the whole presentation be a PowerPoint because you don't have anything ready, or you don't feel it's quite up to what it should be. That's okay, but demos are so much better. If I told you a quick story and showed you how I solved it, you'd be excited and you'd be like, that person has it ready and it's ready to go. If I told you what the problem is and then showed you a bunch of slides, you'll be like, I'm a little bit lost, and you'd be surprised at what's going on. Don't interrupt. This is important. Don't interrupt your co-team. Don't interrupt your team. If your team's saying something, unless it's religiously wrong, tremendously wrong, and this is going to affect you tremendously, do not interrupt. This will be hard for some of you guys. But the interruption makes it look to us, the coaches, and pardon me, the judges, don't worry about the coaches, we're never going to bother you. The judges feel that the whole team has failed at that moment, that the whole team doesn't know what they're doing. They don't think that individual doesn't know what they're doing. They think everybody's doing. So don't interrupt. Present your iPhone, iPads, or multiple laptops on a single laptop. Ask me or ask any of the coaches how to do this if you don't know how. But you want to be able to have your PowerPoint, if you have one, the demo 1, the demo 2, the page on the back end, the page on the front end, but make sure it's on the same laptop. The last thing you want to do is disconnect and reconnect. You'll waste a lot of time, and you don't have that much time. All right, forms. If there's a form to be filled in, it's a very, very long form. Do one of two things. Fill in the minimum, like, your system is okay with just the phone number. Explain to us, the user would fill in all the information. It's okay, I don't need to do GC Bill Gates' name up there. I don't need to know his address. I don't need to know his telephone number. If all you needed was an email, go ahead and just fill in that. And it's okay to go and say, these fields will normally be filled in completely. If you can, skip that, show us what it would look like, and if you really know what you're doing, have it pre-filled. And we understand that it won't come pre-filled for everybody, but this is a demo. We want to show off the important part. And filling in the form is probably not. Don't stop if there's a problem. This is key. If there is a problem, try to figure out what's going on. If there's a vast problem, we will stop you. We will take you off stage, and you'll be able to come back much later. If there is a tremendously big problem, as in you don't have internet, but you shouldn't have that kind of an issue. If we've lost internet, we'll stop. We'll put you on the side. The next team might be able to go on before you, but you want to be able to never stop. Improvise. Figure out what's going on. Skip that part. Try it again, but if you have to skip it, have some screenshots of what's going on. Remember, your idea, your innovation, The actual working prototype is just part of the judging rules. It's not the whole thing. But if you don't get to present everything because you were too busy stopping it, you've lost. Show off your technology use. Every one of the judges are in technology fields. Show off. Tell us it's this technology and how hard it was. Tell us what is important about this technology and why you did it and why it's impressive. Tell us. Impress us. Because impressing is what you're doing. All right. Don't use videos. This is a big problem in presentations. Everybody wants videos, and here's the problem. Videos are long and they're complicated, so unless you're, this is the backup and this is it working on the outside, which is perfectly fine. Here it is. Here's the demo of that person walking outside with their phone and doing that thing your product needs to do. Okay, those videos are okay. But I've seen videos that are 15 minutes long, way overboard, and the only reason those videos ever did anything is because the judges knew that person, and that person won for for no reason at all. So don't use video. Audio. Sometimes the audio will work, sometimes it does. There's a big problem with audio. So if your presentation has audio, prepare that, figure that out, and make sure it's working. Try to make a noise in the PowerPoint. Try to make a noise a little bit ahead of time, but one part doesn't make sense, and then that wonderful notification, bing, hey, your email has arrived. But make sure to be aware that sometimes noise doesn't work. All right. Questions are coming from the judges. The judges will be asking questions after your presentation. You will have time for that. You don't need to set time aside for those questions. They will be timed differently, so don't worry about it. All right. Having said that, audience participation. I'll get to the questions that the judges will ask and how to deal with them in just a little bit later. Audience participation. The audience is not allowed to ask questions. This is a kind of an obvious to me, but everybody else seems to want to try. It's an old trick to get you to, mess up as you're the presenter or other things. So we will not be taking questions from the audience, even during the judgment time. So if you are wanting to ask questions, just ask them for it. If you truly want to know more of this product because it really wowed you, ask them after they presented. And I mean after everybody has presented. Don't interrupt anybody that's up on stage with some loud noise, and let's all pay attention to what's going on. If the audience needs to be included in your presentation, if you want everybody to go there, just be aware that they are slow. I have a particular prize I give away, and I ask everybody to go to a particular website, and I have to repeat the website 14 times. And I have an hour-long presentation, very similar to how this presentation is going. So I have plenty of time. Everybody doesn't understand and how to do basics, and they have to type, and everybody types slow. So if there is audience participation, try to limit it to something quick where they can go to the website and click left or right or blue and red, and that's it. And don't expect everybody to do it. A lot of people will not be paying attention. They're just too nervous to do the other things. So try to avoid audience participation. It's great to get the audience laughing, but you want to concentrate everything on the judges. The audience is there, but the audience is there as simply echo chamber and nothing to be think about. You are there to present to the judges. So if you want the judges to go to a particular website, also remember that they are also a little bit slow in typing, even though these are amazing individuals. Judges. They are the only ones allowed to get questions, and they will ask you a question, and some of you will get angry at those questions. Don't get angry, or at least don't show us that you are angry. They have valid questions, and you can try to respond to them, but be calm with responding. The last thing you want to do is get mad at these judges. You're not there to get them mad. They're there to judge you. Don't get them mad. Be truthful. If something wasn't really there, if they're like, did that really work? That scanning of your face, did that really work with the background? And you're like, no. That one wasn't working. We didn't have time for the demo. It is working. I can show it to you afterwards, but it's not working at this moment. But we understand. We understand that you have the idea. I had once a particular presentation. It was quite a long thing, and there was one part that I would scan with a camera, the receipt on a restaurant bill, and you can figure out what the product was. But that one, they told me to skip it because it was going to take a long time. The system needed to process it. Again, if you have something that needs a lot of processing, let's just sort of skip that, sort of fake that until you make it. We understand that the system would go and analyze 100,000 blocks of Bitcoin and then figure out, okay, we don't have 30 minutes to wait. We don't have 2 minutes to wait for this thing to analyze. So just pre-analyze it for us. Pretend that we have that already working. Related to what I'm saying right now, don't make your answers too long. Try to make them as short as possible. You don't want to take over the time. Joe will have a particular period of time that the judges are allowed to ask questions. Don't go overboard. Don't give up too much details, or else you might stumble yourself and give yourself away to something you didn't want. Presentations are over. You found out who the winner is, and it's not you. Trust me, I'm talking to everybody, because there will only be one winners, and there's a couple of second and third prizes, and that's okay. That's going to be you. But if it isn't, don't worry. Here's what you want to do after the hackathon. It's very important. Keep in touch with everybody in your team. Get everybody's contact information if they're willing to share it with you. Get everybody's LinkedIn, get everybody's phone number. Try to share information. And specifically about that, try to share your code. Whatever you had on your laptop, try to share with everybody else. Whatever they had on the laptop, try to also try to get that information. You'd be surprised that some of the things that you did in a hackathon can be useful in other times of your life. And it's important to be able to show. You might be able to show off the hackathon because you are the winner or your second winner, or you have this amazing idea. And someone will want to know how about it. So if it's on Joan's laptop and Jimmy has all the Photoshop files, try to get them in a single location and share them around, either OneDrive, on GitHub, or a thumb drive everybody gets and everybody gets a copy. That's important. You can figure out what you did right and wrong, and you can think about it, but don't worry. There will be plenty of other hackathons. In fact, Palm Beach Tech is having another one during the spring. So don't worry if you did anything wrong. Don't worry if you did everything right. Remember those things and just sort of absorb them and try to deal with them. There's no need to worry about it or blame anybody or get mad about it. It's just a hackathon. Say hello to others, say hello to other teams, tell them how much you like the product, not doing and right after the presentation. Once everybody's finished, have some conversation with everybody, find out more about the product. Maybe you can use their product, maybe they'll give you their software, maybe they'll give you those amazing graphics that you saw. Give them a chance. You'll be able to find some amazing friends at these places. Make sure everything you brought, you take with you. Listen, this is going to be an amazing event. This is going to be a super, super exciting event. We are all just itching to be ready. I wanted to make this video because I love these events. I'm excited about these events. Just try to be a little bit courteous of everybody around you. Just try to be conscious that you have a little bit of time to present, not too much time to create this. And have fun. Have a lot of fun. And kick ass. This is Damien out. See you at the hackathon.